Thank you, sir. Mr. Divakar Basne, sir, will be felicitated by another report chair. Mr. Daniel Minal will be felicitated. Thank you to the dignitaries and my colleagues for the session. Now I would like to hand over the microphone to the chairperson for the session, Mr. Rakesh Mathur, please. He will continue with the session. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so first, thank you for this second muffler. I was feeling very cold here, so I've got another one. And you can see I'm already wearing one inside. So I'm going to come there and give a presentation, okay? Which you will go through and then I'll come back here. Formed with support from the Ministry of Tourism and the United Nations Environment Programme. And we work very closely with the Ministry of Tourism and UNEP to promote responsible tourism and sustainable practices in tourism. We do workshops, we have publications, there's a lot of things we do. If you can go through my website, which will come in the end, rtsoi.org, you'll see all the work that rtsoi.org, you'll see all the work that we do. Now, normally when you start a presentation, there's a whole lot of data, but I'm going to start with some pictures, some interesting pictures. Before, I hope everybody knows what is SDGs. These are Sustainable Development Goals, which were enumerated by the United Nations and which have been given as targets to every country who are members of the United Nations to implement over a period of time. So the question here was, how is ecotourism a tool for achieving these SDGs? I like to start with my favorite slide. This is Mother Earth. And I don't think I have seen anything more beautifully depicted about Earth than this particular slide, which somebody sent me on Mother's Day. And if we don't look after Mother Earth, how are we going to survive? That is the big question. And whatever we do in our professions, whether we are hoteliers or whether we are into manufacturing or production or whatever, we have to, the ultimate goal is to sustain Mother Earth. This is not moving. Here. So first let me show you the bad side of tourism. Do you know this is a riverside in Goa on top? And down below is a dump in Rajasthan behind the heritage property. I'm sorry, there are some technical glitches here. Look at this, look at what, this is after a wedding party, the top picture. This is after a wedding party in a 5-star deluxe hotel in Udaipur. And look at the junk created down below. Now you would think that these, please go back. Are you doing this or am I doing this? Now you would think that these are stainless steel plates. This is actually disposable synthetic plates. You eat and you throw. Look at the plastic on the right hand side. This is a serving in an airline, and this is all throwaway plastic. What I'm trying to show you is that tourism as an industry, and I'm a tourism person, tourism as an industry, whether it is airline or hotels, is one of the largest producers. Next, why don't you use it? is one of the largest producers of disposable waste, of plastics, of affluents, and apart from that, tourism also is a very high consumer. Not tourism, hotels are a very, very high consumer of energy, resources, water, etc. Now, why am I showing you these 4 pictures? These were taken this morning. One is people who provide tourism services. We call them tourism service providers. And the other is tourists. Now, I blame both tourism service providers and tourists. Even tourists have to be responsible. Look at the waste of food left on the plate. Why serve yourself? Because there's a lot of energy that has gone into production of these food items. And people just ate half of it. I'm not disrespectful to anybody. I just took these pictures on the spot this morning because I saw people eating half of their food and leaving it and going away. And then you look at the plastic bottles. There was a discussion this morning about serving water in plastic bottles. You know, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, I don't ever touch these plastic bottles now. And in my personal thinking, they should be banned. Today, in the companies that I'm an advisor in 2 or 3 hotel companies, I have implemented complete service in glass bottles. And when I went to this particular hotel, I told them, please bring glass bottles to my room. I don't want from the RO, from the plant in the kitchen. I don't want to use any of these plastic bottles. Look at the plastic spoons. The last picture shows, next slide, shows plastic spoons being used. Look at the plastic bottles stacked for service. And on the contrary, when I came here this morning, I was pleasantly surprised to see a nice water station here in the banquet hall, which is what should have been happened in the first place in the hotels that I'm staying in. I'm just trying to point out that hotels have to become very, very conscious about all this. This was a particular sign, ₹100 will be charged for wastage of any food in your plate. Now, I don't know whether hotels can strictly implement this, but one hotel had the courage to put this signage. And you know, there is if you read what is written next, in the next 10 years, Earth will become 4 degrees hotter than it is now. The Himalayan glaciers are melting. And mind you, if the Earth does become 4 degrees hotter, most of our beach towns will be gone, Maldives will be submerged, so nothing will be left, for us to enjoy. Next. Look at the beauty of nature on the other hand. Next. I mean, these are just some beauty. This is Pangong Lake where I went. These are all this is a lake in Pokhara, Nepal. I don't know if there's anybody here from Nepal. Beautiful. What beauty Mother Earth has given. Look at local communities surviving on whatever natural resources are at their command. Next. Again, just some good pictures. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is a mindset. You have to change your mindsets about how you live. Somebody mentioned it in that hall, I think it was Mr. Arya, that we have to change mindsets. And the concept of sustainability in my dictionary is not long term. It is perpetual. As long as Mother Earth is there, as long as our children are there, our future generations are there, the concept of sustainability has to be perpetual. Tourism, I've already said, is high consumption of energy and resources, high wastage and pollutants, and the higher the experience, today you talk of luxury tourism. Let me tell you, the more the luxury, the higher the environmental cost. If you are serving imported food in your hotel, don't forget the price at which you are importing it all the way from Germany or Australia or Russia or England or whatever. I'm talking about, food items which are generally available there, not in India. So uncontrolled tourism without human intervention will ultimately lead to what I just told you. Next. Now, which are the SDGs? Now I come down to the SDGs, which are the Sustainable Development Goals, which are directly impacted by tourism. Life on land. Number 2, life underwater. This is what the SDGs have laid down as what has to be sustainable. Good health and well-being of human beings. I think tourism directly impacts all this. Clean water and sanitation, another SDG for each and every human being on earth. Responsible production and consumption. Decent work and economic growth. Sustainable communities. Prevention of climate change. Next. So, what is the action needed in order to achieve these 9 SDGs which are directly impacted by tourism? Number 1, the hotel industry, the hospitality industry has to transit to renewable energy. Enough of diesel and coal and whatever energy sources we use. I think renewable energy is going to play a big role if we are to achieve our SDGs. Reduction of carbon emission through innovation and technology. That, of course, is a universal problem, not only in the hospitality industry, but also in manufacturing, etc. Redefine luxury to be experiential. Now, a lot of people think that luxury would be that you walk into a room and you have a 5 feet by 4 feet television, and you have 7 pillows and cushions thrown on your bed sheet, and you have 10 towels at your command. I think luxury has to be redefined to be experiential. The better the experience, the more it should be counted as luxury. Of course, this thought is now slowly creeping in, and luxury is not about just being extremely great. See, the human greed to consume more and more and indulge in conspicuous consumption has brought about a lot of what we are going through. But once you go through a good and a unique experience, I think that should be luxury. So luxury versus comfort, you have to draw the line between what is luxury and what is comfort. Hygiene, cleanliness, comfortable. Doesn't mean you have to be luxurious. It's like driving a car which gives you, I believe the Hummer, which is the American version, which is adapted from a tank, gives you about 1 kilometer per liter of diesel or petrol, I don't know. And on the other hand, I have a small Maruti Baleno which gives me 18 kilometers per liter. So, is it comfortable? Yes, for me to go into the markets in Delhi is very comfortable. And if I want luxury, should I buy a Hummer? Is it worth it? These are the decisions we have to make. Discourage conspicuous consumption and wastage. I already showed you that slide on wastage. Encourage local consumption. When you import food, there is a cost in terms of leaving a carbon footprint. Discourage imports with a high carbon footprint. Hotels must change their service design. Let me give you a very small example. Change of service design. You people think it's very, you may consider it very insignificant, but let me tell you, it's very significant. I brought about a rule in my companies that, number 1, you will not serve water without asking. Right? Number 2, when you do serve, if the guest says, yes, I'd like some water, pour half a glass, not a full glass. And I just would like you to go back and think how much water is wasted in glasses which people don't drink. Today I saw half-empty bottles lying around. Those were not only water wasted, but plastic also wasted. But if you really, now water is a very expensive commodity. You have to dig below the ground. Most water is now in hotels is sourced through tube wells. You have to treat it, you have to soften it, you have to filter it, then you have to send it up by means of a generator. You have to send it up to the rooftop. It goes and accumulates in a tank, and from the tank then it comes down. So there is a huge cost to water, apart from the fact that water is short. So these are small examples, but very significant examples. Um, Introduce environment charters in hotels. I'll show you an example. I've laid out for the employees a very nice environment charter, which is in English. It's translated into local languages. I'm going to leave a copy here in this. You can distribute. It's entirely up to you. I don't mind sharing it because it will do good to mankind, and especially in the hospitality industry. It's a charter which just tells the employee basically what to do. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a practitioner of hoteliering. I don't talk big theory. I know what works at the ground level. And that is what I've tried to bring on this platform. So introduce environment charter, it will come a little later. Architects must design environment-friendly buildings. That's very, very important, you know. I mean, if you look at the air conditioning in this room, you know how much excess energy we are consuming by chilling it to this level? Just think about it. It's not an insignificant point, it's a significant point. And you know, I would feel much comfortable wearing a jacket right now. But does it mean that you cool your bedroom in the hotel to such a level that you need to wear a quilt? No, you keep it at the right temperature where it is comfortable. So, architects must design. Anyway, coming back, proper waste management requires a huge change in mindsets of individuals. We'll come to this a little later, but people have to learn how to segregate waste. You must have 3 different bins, one for wet garbage, one for dry garbage, and one for plastics. And you must train your staff to, whether it is in the travel trade, I still remember, I'm talking about transportation. In Ladakh, we introduced a policy where every taxi was equipped with a little garbage bag. So nobody would open the window and throw things outside. So these are things. Garbage segregation at source is essential. Plastics are the worst enemy, I already said it. Single-use plastic must be banned, which includes these small bottles of water. They include many other small items which must be totally banned. Hotels must switch to purified water services in glass bottles. Banquets must discard small plastic bottles. Anyway, I'm a very, very anti-plastic guy, so I keep on repeating it. Snacks in synthetic packaging, I'm talking about all the chips that you get, all the pan masalas that you get, must be heavily taxed to encourage substitution. Only if they are taxed will people work on substituting, you know, bringing out different kind of packaging which is biodegradable. Initiate a system of reward and punishment to clean and dirty destinations. When I say that there should be some system whereby if a destination is not set to hygiene standards, there should be some kind of reward to the better destinations. Those in charge must be held accountable. Like that, you know, that picture I showed you of Humayun's tomb in Delhi, where people had thrown garbage. I think people who work there must be equally accountable. Next. So some of the important suggestions that I made, there should be a responsible citizen education in every school in India, right from class 5 when the child, or class 4 when the child achieves awareness, right up to class 10. And I'm not talking about this being a subject of an exam. I'm talking about this being a general subject of discussion. When we were little kids, we had in our school a subject called moral science. And all that we were taught was to be a good citizen. We were taught road rules, we were taught first aid, we were taught hygiene, sanitation, garbage segregation, just about being a good citizen. And that is what I think should be compulsorily introduced. Somebody did mention it in the morning in the climate change seminar, but I wish this point would be taken seriously by the government. Display do's and don'ts in all tourism sites. You don't find this if you go. Introduce a system of warden come guides. I think guides should be wardens who should be empowered to take punitive action wherever a tourist does something wrong. Fine violators. budget, there should be budget for workshops for education. Here I'm advocating that every state in the Northeast, now the budget session is coming, must provide for a workshop. And of course RTSO, I would be very happy to support in these workshops. Budget for a responsible traveler campaign. I'm going to show you an example of a responsible traveler campaign. Now, I told you earlier that travelers are as bad as service providers, and therefore travelers need to be sensitized. We started a campaign, we gave it a lot of publicity on social media, but I think you haven't seen it because that campaign needs to go national. And for it to go national, it should be on national media, which requires money. And only the Ministry of Tourism can do that. So all the ministries of tourism in Northeast must combine together and come out with this campaign, in which I'd be happy to help because we've already done it on social media. I'll show you an example. Exchange of best practices, that's obviously through workshops and things like that. Bring unorganized sector under control. India has the largest unorganized sector. Small guest houses, eating houses, dhabas, what we call them in Punjab. You know, they are not under any kind of control. You just have to, you may go and eat a nice hot chapati and food, but you just have to go and look behind and you'll see the kind of dirt and filth that is lying around. So the unorganized sector is much larger than the organized sector in India, and it needs to be brought under control. Whether it's a guest house, whether it's a homestay, whatever it is. Conduct environment and energy audits, that's good. I mean, it will be good for the hotel companies to audit their own energy and environment consumption. Conduct carrying capacity studies. Carrying capacity is when you talk about how much tourists can a destination take. You must have heard of hill stations which run out of water, which run out of parking space, where you can't find adequate resources. So every place has a carrying capacity. The moment you go beyond that, you are in trouble. Then develop new destinations. That's another example of next. Now look at these plastic trays. Just a few more pictures of things that should be totally banned. And these are packaging trays. Somebody asked for packed food for me. I was traveling and I said, can you order some lunch? So they ordered a packed meal for me and it came in these trays. I was hungry, I ate it, but my heart wasn't there, let me tell you that. And then I took a picture. You have biscuits in packed plastic packaging. Now this particular brand, I didn't show the name, not only has a plastic cover outside, synthetic, but inside also they have a plastic packaging. You see that thing inside? Why? What is the mindset with plastic these days? Next. Same thing, I'm just showing synthetic and plastic. Next. This morning somebody spoke about the milk sachets and so on. I will just put it here as an example. Next. So this is now coming to the responsible traveler. This is the Humayun's tomb in Delhi, which is a World Heritage Site. And it so happens that I live right behind it and I see it every day. And I go for my morning walks there and I see this kind of litter every day. So this is what I call by the irresponsible traveler. They are not even concerned. So you have to change mindsets through the education process, which I spoke about in the first place. Next. This is a very good saying. In the forest and mountains, animals do not leave trash. Humans do. Please behave like animals. So I thought this was a good one. And now, next, you have different packaging available. I would urge everybody, you've got these biodegradable packets which are there. Next. These are wooden spoons. Next. Water bottles next, which we are using. Different kind of, for different kind of waste. Next. This is the environment charter. It's a little long for you to read right now, but you can make a copy out of this. It will be in this computer, and you can distribute whatever your organization wants to do. but I would really love for this to go all across the Northeast to every hotel to practice. Lord's Group is the group I'm a director. Now, this is a pledge that we had defined for commitment towards safe and honorable and sustainable tourism. We solemnly pledge and reiterate our commitment to conduct our business in a manner that befits the culture and ethos of our rich and ancient civilization. Now, this is an oath that was adopted by the Ministry of Tourism. And this oath, this pledge, I would like every person engaged in the hospitality industry to take and display it in their offices or in their hotels or whatever. Next. I think I showed this. This was a beautiful journey I took through Bhutan, and you'll see a little difference. Just quickly go. I'll quickly show it to you. This is Mount Everest, my picture taken by me. Look at the village. Look at the architectural design of the village. You know, another big problem in our country is that, you know, over-construction has led to a destruction of a lot of destinations. But in Bhutan, next, by law, you have to design your buildings and your windows in a particular manner. And that is why Bhutan is such known as the most sustainable, pristine destination in the world. Next. You have these boards like this everywhere. Next. I think I mentioned that boards of do and don't should be displayed. Every child is taught in school is taught a particular art of his interest, his or her interest. Whether it's woodwork. Next. Just go next. Okay, so this is what I call a tree of sustainability. People used to talk about reduce, reuse, recycle. There are so many R's. And this morning somebody gave an example of how we used to wear trousers which came down from our father, and it came to me, and from me it went to my younger brother, and everything would be reused. And after the trouser was torn, it was converted into a bag. And after the bag was torn, it was converted into a cleaning cloth. So there are so many R's which can be, I call this a tree of sustainability. Next. Man is the most insane species. This point was also referred to this morning. He worships an invisible God and destroys the visible nature. I have always now believed that our God is our nature, what we see in front of us. And we have to protect that nature, because everything our existence is provided by nature. The energy from the sun, you know, the oxygen from the plants, the food from the plants, everything is nature. Has anybody seen God? Nobody has. What you've seen is nature. Very well said. Mahatma Gandhi said, yeah, the earth has enough for every man's need, but not for greed. Next. We have this is of course Dalai Lama. We have a responsibility to look after our planet. It is the only home we have. Next. One of the most profound statements was made by Barack Obama when he said that we are the first generation to feel the effect of climate change. We, yours and mine. And we are the last generation who can do something about it. Next. So this is our society, and this brings me to the end of my talk. While I'm walking down there, next. Yeah, he's going to show you a very small video, which is part of the Responsible Traveler campaign.
वहाँ की फिजा, वहाँ का एनवायरनमेंट खराब। ये ग्लोबल मूवमेंट शुरू हुआ है, आई एम अ रिस्पॉन्सिबल ट्रैवलर। आप जानना चाहते हैं इसके बारे में, तो हैशटैग है आई एम अ रिस्पॉन्सिबल ट्रैवलर। आप इसको जाइए, ज्वाइन कीजिए, और इसके ज़रिए आप हमारी दुनिया, हमारी फिजा को एक बहुत ही खूबसूरत और खुशगवार दुनिया बनाएंगे, ताकि आने वाली पीढ़ियाँ भी उसका लुत्फ उठा सकें।
So we used some friendly celebrities who were friends of ours.
So after Rakesh sir speaks, the only thing that both of us need to say is thank you to all of you. And looking at the number of people who are leaving the hall, we should say a quicker thank you. Because it looks like by the third presentation of his, we'll just have the videographer and us sitting out here and doing the interaction. But I understand Sunday evening, 5:45 p.m. You should be doing better things in life than sitting in this room and listening to the three of us out here. But very, very thankful to all of you for having sat through the entire day. You will only understand the repercussions of this maybe when you grow a little older, when you have lesser hair than him on your head. But it is important that we listen to people like Rakesh sir because he is an institution by himself. Now, I was giving somebody introduction of him. अभी इनका introduction देना है तो सिर्फ एक बात है, इंडिया में जितने heritage hotels हैं ना, जो राजा महाराज संभाल नहीं सकते हैं और hotels बना दिए, he is the man behind it. So you have to give him a big round of applause for that. So you are seeing a man, a legend with you who is sitting out here at 5:45 p.m. He could be doing an evening walk at Humayun Tomb this evening. Then being in Arunachal Pradesh. So coming to Arunachal Pradesh, I come from Sikkim. Beautiful place. Beautiful place. I visited first time. This is my first time in Arunachal Pradesh. Lovely people. And I think everybody is almost a tour operator out here. You know why? Because everybody smiles on the streets. Forget about good hotels, forget about good roads, forget about good food. The first thing about hospitality is how you approach people. And I think you need to give yourself a big round of applause because every Arunachali that I saw since yesterday has been smiling and being nice to. I'm sure he's come here often, I've come here the first time. So give yourself a big round of applause for being a wonderful people that you are. So this is what responsible tourism also is. Yeah? When guests come, you have to accept them as your own. So that is a part of responsible tourism and thank you for that. Now coming back to my topic quickly, because Rakesh sir has more or less spoken most of the things that both of us together combined in our experience also would not be able to cover. But I wrote a few things because I did not know whether it was a PPT or something that I had to do. So I'll just take some notes out of here. There's this very interesting quote called, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to. Have you heard this quote? Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. The question that we need to ask is, why does everybody want to go to heaven? Why does everybody want to go to heaven? Yeah, 5:45, let's do a little bit of interaction. Why does everybody want to go to heaven?
Sir.
Yes. बैठो नहीं, हम तो बैठे हैं।
सर सब लोग सोचते हैं कि ये दुनिया कुछ नहीं है तो इससे भी अच्छा कुछ होगा इसलिए
सब लोग सोचते हैं कि दुनिया अच्छी नहीं, इससे अच्छी जन्नत है। There's a better place than earth. But the interesting thing, the question that we need to again ask ourselves is, who has gone to heaven, come back to share that beautiful experience with all of us, saying कि अरे जन्नत बहुत अच्छा है? Nobody. I don't know of anybody who has ever gone to heaven, come back with their list of experiences and said to us कि हाँ वहाँ पे जाओ अच्छा खाना मिलेगा, वहाँ पे जाओ अच्छा रोड मिलेगा, वहाँ पे जाओ अच्छे लोग मिलेंगे, कोई है नहीं ना. But the idea of heaven is that it is much better than the earth that we live in. But the moot question that we need to ask ourselves is, how do we make the place that we're living in, which is earth, and give it a heavenly experience? And this is where ecotourism plays a very, very important role, is what I believe. We're talking about sustainable development goals, which Rakesh sir has very nicely mentioned, each point very well elaborated. I will not elaborate much, but I personally believe that ecotourism plays a very, very important role in giving us that heavenly experience to every guest who comes to every tourism state, including your beautiful state of Arunachal Pradesh. And how do we link it with SDGs? Now we work, 24 Hours Inspired is my parent company. I've been an entrepreneur for the last 18 years. Last 8 years we moved into the educational tourism space. I have this company called Ed Vacations, where we only do educational tourism, where we bring students from different parts of the country to Sikkim and a few other northeastern states, and also take students from northeastern states to other parts of the country, so that we give ourselves a reason to connect this India with that India. You know, India is two, pata hai na aapko? Yeah, there are apparently two Indias. One India which Rakesh sir comes from, and one is our India. Yeah, so we try to connect the so-called mainstream India with the northeast, and northeast with the mainstream India. And this is where sustainable development goals plays a very, very important role, because we as an institution, we as an organization, we are dealing with young minds like you and younger minds. हमारे clientele है, हमारे clientele honeymoons के लिए नहीं आते, हमारे clientele bike riding के लिए नहीं आते, हमारे clientele destination wedding के लिए नहीं, हमारे clientele आते हैं school से आते हैं. Our clientele come from colleges, and this is the best mind that we deal with, because I swear by God, when I was in school at that age, I was not even 1/3 smarter than a school student who is right now. I was not even 1/3 conscious than a school student who is right now. I was not even 1/3 intelligent than a college student who is right now, because one of the best things that is happening in the world today, especially younger minds, is information is at your palms. So that information is making you aware and making you question, why not? So why not SDGs, why not sustainability? SDGs plays a very, very important role in the aspect of tourism. 5 SDGs that Rakesh sir ने 14 SDGs निकाले, मैं 5 SDGs that I found very pertinent in terms of how ecotourism could boost, give us that heavenly experience. The first one is Sustainable Development Goal 12. Number 12, it talks about use of Earth's resources. Now, use of Earth's resources is something that he showed very, very nicely with the picture. Aaj subah hotel mein, I was feeling very guilty because I was also staying in the same hotel that he was staying. मैं भी 2 पानी तो पी लिया, 2 bottle पानी पी लिया. Now evening I will not drink. That is made, है ना सर, सीख लिए ना, सीख लिए सर, ये भी तो सीख है. This is also inching towards SDG. And SDG 12, it talks about sustainable use of Earth's resources. If I don't use one small water bottle this evening, that is my contribution towards sustainable development goals, which is going to make a world a much better place. And that is how ecotourism also should help. So whenever there are guests coming to Arunachal Pradesh the next time, please make sure that if you are entering the travel and tourism space, sir out here, Vaidya sir has been there for the last 21 years. He is a good guide and mentor for you if you are interested. But he will tell you that let us try to be more sustainable. Right, so SDG number 12 I thought is very fitting in terms of ecotourism. Now the second one I thought very, very important is SDG number 17, which is generate economic opportunities for local people. You know, he showed that fish market out there. ऐसा, it's a very simple thing. जब लोग आते हैं ना बाहर से, they come from much bigger places than ours, है कि नहीं? मैं गैंगटॉक में अपने दोस्तों को बोल रहा हूँ, यार तुम्हारा जैसा होटल तो दिल्ली बॉम्बे में कितने हैं? Let's show them something which they have never experienced, and that is where local communities play a very, very important role. Yesterday evening we came around 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I got a little room में बहुत AC थी, and we are not very used to AC. Especially people in the hills, northeast, we are not very comfortable with AC. I am not comfortable with AC. Let me be very clear. ये अगर वहाँ लॉन में होती ना बहुत मजा आता, क्योंकि हवा फ्रेश है ना यार, and it's not difficult for us to breathe also. So yesterday evening around 6 o'clock, I booked a cab and then I went around. हम लोग nurseries where I do a lot of plantation, so to buy plants, I bought a lot of plants. So मैं ड्राइवर भाई को बोल रहा था, I think it was वसीफ और कुछ था उनका ना, उनको बोल रहा था कि चलो local कुछ खिलाओ उनको. So we went to the Bhutta shop, we went to all the local shops out there, and we had a good interaction. And the lady was so kind. She said, "Sikkim का हमको currency दे दो ना." She thought Sikkim was a foreign country. Yes, so Sikkim का currency एक बार दिखाओ. तो they said India है, तो India है Sikkim. So and see, this is how this is also a great interaction, ना? Because ये तो ठीक है, हम तो brothers sisters हैं. Sikkim is the brother and all 7 sisters. So, but people outside the Northeast, they still feel that half of the Northeast is outside India. So it is our responsibility also to say, and talking about generating economic opportunities, whenever we are inviting people, whenever you're going outside, please let's make sure that we are trying to use and boost local economy. For example, hotels में क्यों रहना? जहाँ भी जाए hotels में क्यों? Let's try to see if we can stay in homestays. Great interaction that happens. ना घर का खाना है. You know, in the evening, you're sitting by the fire, talking to people, local communities, and also not only improving their local economy, but also culturally, हम लोग ना intelligent हो रहे हैं. Because when I why do I become over aggressive about a culture? Because I don't know about the culture. Na? When people in the mainstream say ki Nagas eat all kind of meat, I don't know. He also doesn't know because he's also heard from the third party कि नागा से जो भी दिखता है वो खाते हैं. Could not be the truth. But that is only found when you go to a local community, stay with them, and interact with them and make friends for life. And that is Sustainable Development Goals 70. The third one is education and awareness at grassroots, which is SDG 4. Very very important is that अभी का traveler जो है ना, and Rakesh sir would endorse, the traveler of the 1980s, 70s and the traveler of the 2000s is heaven or different. जब पहले travelers होते थे, from my interaction with others, whatever the tour operator said is what traveler will also understand. सर है वही था ना. But अभी तो क्या है ना, इंटरनेट में इतना रिसर्च करके आते हैं लोग कि you feel that you don't know many things about your own place. Yeah? For example, somebody comes to Arunachal Pradesh, they will tell you more things about Arunachal Pradesh than you know. That's a very discerning traveler that is there. And that discerning traveler also knows where he comes from. There's too much of pollution, which should not make this part of the world polluted. So when we are giving him that experience of a fresh Arunachal, a fresh destination, they will be your friends and love for life, and they'll send more people. क्योंकि cities में तो अभी क्या है ना, 40 साल का 80 साल हो गया अभी. They want to 40-year-old wants to spend 1 week in Arunachal and become 39 and go back. That's the whole idea about traveling experience that is shaping now. Like what he was saying, he is into bird watching. 21 years, great experiences. He's got in bird watching. His clients are all discerning. Very serious clients who come for bird watching. बर्ड वॉचिंग में कैसे आते हैं लोग जो पेइंग भी कर सकते हैं ना, दो हफ्ता 3 हफ्ता पेइंग कस्टमर्स, डिसर्निंग कस्टमर्स ट्रैवल अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड. तो इनके कस्टमर्स जो आते हैं, दे वांट पीस ऑफ माइंड एंड दे वांट. ऑफिस में क्या होता है कि झमेला, दुनिया भर का झमेला वहाँ पे रख के अरुणाचल आके बर्ड वॉचिंग क्यों कर रहे हैं? क्योंकि ही वांट्स टू नंबर 1 फोकस, कॉन्सेंट्रेट, patience build करना है, and also make sure that he is contributing to the ecology by being a conscious traveler. So that is the kind of travelers that is going to come to you, and that brings to education awareness at the grassroots is very very important, especially for young students like you all who know what is happening. So one of the things that we'd like to request is please go back to your communities and try to see how we can make it an ecotourism space. Because every space, हम सिक्किम में क्या बोलते हैं to every tourist, जब tourist बोलते हैं कि what are the tourist spots बोलते हैं, मैं उनको एकदम सिंपल बोलूँ, every bend is a tourist spot for you. हर मोड़ क्योंकि वो दिखता नहीं ना आपके गाँव में, बॉम्बे, दिल्ली, बैंगलोर में दिखता ही नहीं. So every bend is a tourist spot. So as local communities, what we need to do is that we need to be aware about the beauty what brings us. क्योंकि हमारा क्या है, घर की मुर्गी दाल बराबर, सर है कि नहीं? Yeah, but the Delhiite would be wanting to come to Arunachal and smell that fresh air. वो पागल हो गए यार AC खा के. That types. So the fourth thing is very very important. Sustainable Development Goal 3, which is ecotourism brings in wellness and inner happiness. एक well-being और inner happiness लाती है. आजकल क्या हो गया है? The world is very stressed out. You are all stressed out in your mobiles. Yeah, the world is stressed out in their own way. A 5-year-old child is stressed out because he's not being able to go to the next level of some game. Yeah, a housewife is stressed out because she's not able to take away that habit of the mobile from the child. A father is stressed out because the mother is scolding him because the child is watching too much of mobile. So the world is stressed out. What the world needs is well-being. Ecotourism is a great platform where we can bring that well-being for our visitors, for our customers, whoever are coming. And that is how it becomes, it gives them that heaven-like experience also. And the last thing that I would like to point out is, before these girls move out, no problem. I'm okay with, you आपको रहना है, कैमरा को रहना है. So the last thing that I'd like to mention out of the fifth one, and very very important, is climate action through ecotourism. You know, you look at Arunachal Pradesh. I'm not looking at the bigger places. I'm looking at Sikkim, my own place. जितना बर्फ गिरती थी ना पहले, उससे हाफ 2-3 साल हो गए सर, हाफ बर्फ गिरती है. जितनी ठंडी होनी है दिसंबर में, उतनी ठंडी होती ही नहीं है ना. जितनी बारिश होनी है मॉनसून में, उतनी बारिश हो ही नहीं रही है. So what is happening is that there's a lot of problem that is being created on the climatic front also, and ecotourism could be the best source where we could ensure that by doing our own bit in terms of sustainability, we can ensure that we do our bit in bringing nature back to its original. जैसे लॉकडाउन में होता, लॉकडाउन में the nature came back to its original best. आपको दिल्ली से हिमाचल दिख रही थी. There was one article where some mountain was seen from Punjab, which they never seen in the last 130 years. So that is what is missing out, and ecotourism will bring all of this back if we start doing it. And it would be impossible if we were doing this ecotourism, let's say in Calcutta or Bombay or Delhi, because they are victims of urbanization, modernization. हमारे पास तो है ना. आज सुबह अरुणाचल प्रदेश के बारे में बोल रहे थे कि you are the greenest state in the northeast, and I think we need to keep that flag of Arunachal Pradesh being the greenest state up, and try to do our bit also by contributing towards making ecotourism the greatest sustainable development goal that it could be. So I had a few more things to talk about, but I will leave it at this because we have one more person. इतना ये तो खाली हो गया, अभी ये भी देखना है. तो इनके लिए ये छोड़ देता हूँ. Right, so thank you very much, sir, Rakesh sir, and thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to speak a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, the organizers, for having me here. Thank you, sir, for getting to know you so closely. You have been always our idol in Arunachal, who really turns in, and then I always wanted to meet you. And this is my first opportunity, which even you guys leave, I will still be happy with you. Sorry to say that. And as a few words to say, I have no words to say now because we know what we need to do for responsible tourism, what we need to do for ecotourism. I am a businessman in profession because I'm a tour operator. I'm not into nature protection thing as such. Maybe when I get retired and if some hair that's on me, I can join him.
I'll loop you in.
Alright, so I'm a tour operator for, I started as a guide actually, and I pressed all the floors on the grounds of Arunachal and Northeast India, and I became a tour operator in 2012. So I have worked it out from the scratches, and that is why we did such kind of seminars or workshops where we are taught how to go about our future or our career. Somehow accidentally I fall into this trap of tourism and I'm still enjoying it. And when it comes to Northeast India, everybody talks about in India, we should be like Bhutan, we can't be like Bhutan. It's a kingdom, it's controlled by the king. But the king says what the rules are set. Here we are democratic country, right? We can, Modi, हम लोग अब चीफ मिनिस्टर का हर दिन सत्यानाश होता है उसका नाम से. We can really screw our leaders with our words. वहाँ नहीं, nobody can implement any rule as long as we don't determine ourselves to fall into that rule. So we have to realize ourselves, because जो हमारे से ऊपर वाला जनरेशन उनको तो सुधार नहीं सकते. आप लोग नए जनरेशन हो, जैसे बसंत सर ने कहा है, आप लोग को सुधार लाना है. अगर हम 3 लोग, आप 10 को अगर सुधार सकते हैं तो आप 10 और 100 को कर सकते हैं. That's what we should determine, and before leaving this room we should take a responsibility कि जो भी आप लोगों ने सुना है उसको आप आगे जाके इम्प्लीमेंट भी करोगे. एक से दूसरा नहीं है ना. सिर्फ पति का बात एक कान से दूसरा कान, बीवी का बात एक कान से दूसरा कान, बाकी सब ज्ञान. ठीक है. So as those has been told, I will tell you on the part of tourism, because Northeast is already an ecotourism destination. We do not have any heavy industries in Northeast. We do not have anything that pollute our air. I keep saying Bhutan is carbon neutral, we are carbon negative. Right? And we should be proud of ourselves and give big round of applause for yourself being part of Notice India, where we are carbon negative, which I keep saying that. And when it comes to ecotourism, we are already by birth, we are into ecotourism. As you said, mentioned that everybody is so hospitable. It's every corner of Northeast, not in Arunachal in particular, but everywhere you go in Northeast, Mizoram, Manipur, wherever you go, you will get, I think, even the system is saying to go down. So it's ecotourism based, but what we need is to streamline the thing before the big, because post-pandemic only we are getting a rise in tourism influx into Northeast India, especially from the other mainland India. So before the floodgates open the big time, we should be careful enough. And as Mathu sir is associated with responsible tourism, we should really pressurize the state government of Northeast to control and look for a, how to go about. And when it comes to MOT, so as you are connected to MOT, I would say Northeast should be focused as an exclusive destination, not a mass tourism destination. Let's not Northeast be another Himachal or another Ladakh, right? So we should all talk about not only responsible but exclusive destination. We should develop ourselves because we are exclusive people. We are the rare species of India. When it comes to tribe and different tribes and communities, we are dying. Our language is dying. Our art is dying. Our traditions and festivals are dying, right? So we are the most rarest species of India in a way, technically, if we talk about. So we have to preserve that thing first. And we are doing it on our own way. All we need is little education. We need people like Basnet sir and Mathu sir to come and teach us how to go about it, how to protect ourselves, from this extinction that is coming to ourselves. Forget about tourism, how it comes, but we need to, preserve ourselves first. That's why we have our indigenous society in Arunachal called Federation of Arunachal Pradesh Society, who is protecting loss of culture, loss of identity, is what our slogan is, go on. And we have seen some changes, but not really what we need to have. And when it comes to ecotourism and employment, Arunachal is really getting into trouble for unemployment issues. But tourism is the only industry which can give you employment. As we do not have कोई monument नहीं हमारे पास कि 500 साल से वही कहानी दोहरा रहा है. एक word miss हो गया तो आप अच्छा गा ही नहीं. We are so dynamic. Northeast is so dynamic. I'm doing this for the last 21 years. Just I did a 35-day trip with my client across East and Central Arunachal, and I never felt the boat. Because every time I go, I don't meet the same people. I don't have to request every time. Photo milega kya? Every time I go, something different comes up. A different lady, a different man with a headgear or without a headgear, with a tattoo, with a bag, something. So I have to request every time a different lady or a different man. Right? So Arunachal or Northeast is so dynamic that you don't get bored in it, if you choose. I'm not bored for the last 21 years. I'm, plus 40 now and still traveling, backpacking, and I'm traveling across Northeast India. So Arunachal is already, or Northeast is already a ready-packed tourism destination. All we need is to streamline the rules and do's and don'ts about it. And don't creep about unemployment. Just join everywhere. And we are not, a hotel destination. We don't have a palace to turn into a 5-star hotel. Arunachal is totally a homestay-based tourism destination. And Arunachal Tourism is working very hard, and I think we have almost the largest homestay network in Northeast India. Probably another 3 years down the line will be the largest in India to have homestays across the state. And the Northeast also coming up slowly. So we are a very controlled, preserved, and very eco-based society already. All we need is some do's and don'ts and follows. So, and for the young minds here, as Basant sir clearly said, tourism is one thing that you can always join in any discipline. Don't hesitate, Maybe you are a PhD. I did post-graduate diploma in tourism, but I don't mind cleaning my dishes for my client. That's how I started my career as a driver, a porter. I did everything. And I'm proud of myself that I did that. I didn't hesitate then so that I can sit in front of you now. If I hadn't had an attitude of having, हम तो इतना पढ़ लिया, हम तो गाइड के लिए आए, हम नहीं कर सकते, आपका लगेज नहीं उठाएगा, आपका बर्तन नहीं उठाएगा, तो आज भी अगर मैं वही गाइडिंग कर रहा था, so I didn't hesitate. So don't hesitate yourself where you are, dream where you want to be, and do what it takes to be there. That's what I would tell you all about. And once you, young minds of India or the world or Northeast, if you made up your mind, nobody can stop you. forget about the government. Government doesn't help. You know, they provide all the supports, just bola, कितना schemes दिया, कितना financial assistance है, but they look for the right mind. Result आप में है कि नहीं, आपको देखेगा, तभी वो support करे. Everybody, आपका 4-5 भाई बहन भी हो, एक ही भाई को क्यों प्यार करते हैं कि वो ज़्यादा मेहनत करता है, बाकी को नहीं करते है कि नहीं? So वो desperate नहीं है, आपका उसमें discrimination नहीं है family parents में, क्योंकि वो जानता है जो मेहनत कर रहा है उसी को support करेगा वही आगे बढ़ेगा. So we need to work hard. And we are already an eco-tourism destination, nothing to do. SDGs had all been said and done. I think you all are clear about it. And as anybody from Arunachal or Itanagar, if you are looking for a job opportunity or future thing, I am based out of Julam. I have a humble home in Julam, which is about 4 kilometers from here. And anybody from tourism background and who wants to learn, you can always give a call, join, ask me whatever you need to ask. And better you have an experience first, travel yourself, learn the culture, learn the dialogue, learn the language festival, everything. Then only you turn into a business person. Because हमारे यहाँ भी Arunachal produces more than 200 to 250 tourism graduates every year. But in business, there is none. It's like this. When I did, we had 3 of us did on that year who done tourism. लेकिन आज 200 से 250 जा रहा है. State government finance भी कर रहा है free of education. लेकिन जब when it comes to profession कोई नहीं है. They still go for LDC, English or teacher को बैठे. So आप लोग वो मत कीजिए. No matter what you do, I am a history graduate, did postgraduate diploma in tourism, and I could do it and you can do it. And don't hesitate to learn the culture of other people, other tribe, and try to understand their dialect, food habits, and everything. That's whatever you learn in your life is that helps you in tourism, which is the beauty of tourism actually. आपके जिंदगी में जो भी आता है, you can always talk about it, and people still love to hear you. I had this client who came 10 years ago, and he had a cancer. He was shocked. He wanted to get away out of this world, out of desperation, out of this thought of dying. He came to me after 10 years. 69 years old with 70 years old wife. We joined for 35 days. And he went with happy, happy soul. He says that I have attained my nirvana or whatever you call it. So this is how beautiful notice is. So with this I sum it up. I hope I could make it as per the topic, but I keep pressing that at the end of the day, all that gas, everybody needs a growth. They need the way to make money, and tourism is the right and very organic, very pure way of making life and money together. That's what this is how I sum it up, and thank you very much once again.
Both Mr. Basnet and Mr. Mrinal. And whether, believe it or not, I've also learned a lot from them right now. When they said that I said everything they had to say, I think that was an understatement. There's so much more you've added. And just to do a little recap, I think I'm going to quote Mr. Basnet on this one. All the quotes that I have, Mahatma Gandhi and Barack Obama, his quote is, everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die, because Jannat is better than earth. I think this is a beautiful statement to me. I was really overwhelmed when I heard him say that. So give earth, make earth a heavenly experience. I think this is a quote. Actually, it's a quote, and I need your permission to use it. He's engaged in student tourism. I think he's doing a great job educating. And one point which he told me outside, and I'm surprised he forgot to mention here, is that this kind of tourism leads to a lot of national integration. And I've added it on his list because it was he who brought this to the fore, that one of the great advantages of student tourism is it brings about national integration between students of mainland India and Northeast India, as you say. Apart from that, pointing out SDGs 12, 17 and 4, education, experience, economic opportunities, using properly Earth's resources. I think these are all very, very important for us. And Mr. Mrinal very well put that it's the role of the younger generation to bring about change. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, it's all about mindsets. This is not a rocket science. It's about just doing the right thing. And you people, we are there to guide you, our generation. And I am the elder generation, this is the middle, you are the young. And we all together should you should read that oath that I have displayed, if you can share it with the students. We will all work together to bring about this change. And of course the importance of do's and don'ts, streamlining rules and regulations. There was one point that I think apart, he also mentioned education. There's just one point I want to add to that. I was also very keen that we should we should introduce compulsory social service in schools for half a day every Saturday. You know, in Delhi, children are more bent on securing 99% marks than on learning the basics of being a good citizen. Now, I told my grandchild, I said, I don't care if you score 80%, but I want you to be a good child. Let me say that. Because in Delhi University, you don't get admission unless you are 99%. So, I think compulsory social service, where you take a child, clean a monument, clean a place, go and do something which is out of the way. And I think that should form part of the curriculum. Then he spoke about preserving our art and culture, streamlining rules and regulations, and displaying them. And I would go to the extent of saying to impose a fine for violators. Because now is not the time to be nice and good. Now we are in a crisis. So thank you very much. Having said all this, I'm sorry if I missed any point. And because we were only three of us, we had all the time. I hope you enjoyed. If there's any question, we'll take 2 or 3 questions. Just ask whatever to whoever you want. Any questions? Yes, sir, please.
Sir, actually, the British definition of ecotourism and what is going on in ecotourism.
Whose definition?
British definition of ecotourism.
I started by saying that I'm a practitioner at the ground level. I have only done work and I have not read theories.
No, it's not.
I have neither done a PhD. I'm a graduate in economics honors, that's all.
My point is like, sir, as we say that ecotourism is something which is reliant with the maintenance of nature as well as the socio-economic development as well as educational development of the local population of that particular area. But in most of the places, from my personal experiences only I am saying is that that bookish definition of ecotourism and what is going ahead in the name of ecotourism in some particular places maybe those two differ actually at some points.
So the thing is that I think somewhere down the line there has to be some mechanism which has to be formed to look into all these aspects. And part of the work that RTSOI is doing, we've been appointed by state governments to look at what they are doing and how they should do it. So that has happened. And in my feedback form that you've given me to fill, I've actually written here, RTSOI would be happy to help.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
I've written here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Just to add to what Sir has also said, ऐसा हो रहा है ना अभी the travelers are getting conscious. Travelers want more of nature. They want more of, like what he said, don't use plastic bottles. A lot of travelers, especially coming from the metros, are I'm sure you will also endorse. They are saying कि हम लोग थोड़ा sustainable. So it's progress in continuation. तो एक दिन में नहीं मिलेगा, but in continuation it is happening. And अभी क्या हो रहा है ना, the premier tour operators are the ones who look at ecology as their prime concept. क्योंकि there are companies which are sending their अभी क्या होता है वो mice,
the concept of MICE, a lot of companies are sending, looking at which is a green, sustainable travel operator in the Northeast. तो उनका तो premium हो गया ना अभी. And they also, because they are getting good money, they are also putting a lot of things, consciously making sure that they don't have small bottles, consciously making sure that the cleanliness is taken care of. तो वो धीरे-धीरे हो रहा है, and this our generation, your generation, and the younger generation, I'm sure by the time they become travelers, the tour operators themselves would have taken care of, especially the ones, not day fly by night, but the ones who are conscious, or the ones who want to earn good money, by the way. They will become more eco-tourism conscious.
That is what actually I was also asking for.
Right side.
But sometimes I am really like I can't think beyond that. Like I kind of like Arunachal, we are developing, and it's not like Delhi, Mumbai, and infrastructure like to replace plastics with the glasses. Industries are not nearby. So in such how to like as in Arunachal context, and now so far, yeah, of course, little bit transportation, communication is growing like. So in such context, like in Arunachal, I can say, how to process the like, kind of replacing like means plastic, making it, obviously we are making our way, but we have to substitute something. We have sustainable means we have to substitute the plastics. So in that, how to process as an individual citizen and concerned citizen, how to do that? Sometimes I can't think about practically how to do. Of course, theoretically we can think like that. Lots of struggles and challenges are there, like in Arunachal context. How to think like, I'm just like to.
Can I? Okay, I'll try and answer. Please.
See, Arunachal, you can easily do it because okay, just like biscuits or whatever imports we are doing from the main and all the food products which are packaged, we cannot stop that in a way. I mean, that's a national issue. But when it comes to regional or state level, see, traditionally we are using bamboo leaves, all those. So at least because now with the developing, we are celebrating our birthdays, marriages, big time. But traditionally we use those leaves, bamboo tubes for drinking. And those can be reinvented and that can be planted because see, Arunachal we are consuming from the forest, but we are not cultivating. Like the tokopatta leaves, the palm leaves, we are not cultivating, right? We are extracting Arunachal, we are going deeper and deeper and extracting out of it, but we are not doing any planting of that. Same with the kyokang, जो पत्ता है जिसमें हम लोग खाना बांध के देते हैं वो सब. And bamboos also, we are not replanting it. Commercial bamboo plantation is going on, but natural, the traditional, those we use it for daily uses, like to drink our local brew or water, whatever, to carry water even. We are not doing all those cultivations. So we need to encourage on that. And that's another way of sustainable and financial livelihood also that we can do. क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ डिग्रेड होते जा रहा है, but traditional we have. आपने अगर आप कहीं गांव में आप जाओगे कोई लोकल फेस्टिवल से, we wrap our rice in a leaf. The wild leaf है वो ऐसे ही उग जाता है वो, ठीक है? In fact, I have seen when I went to Kannauj, I saw those leaves there. तो वो यहाँ से लेके वहाँ गया वो कोई भी चीज़. So those are for useful and naturally we have been so rich. Arunachal पहले से उनका हैबिट है. आदि लोग हैं उनका बैम्बू का पूरा नेटिंग बास्केट टाइप का प्लेट बनाते हैं वहाँ. They put the leaves and they serve you all the foods in there. तो बॉयल होता है हमारे यहाँ तो completely organic है. We use only boil. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा बैम्बू शूट होता है fermented बैम्बू, which many people doesn't like for the smell, but that's very healthy actually. Kind of planning everything. तो वो एक है. So natural Arunachal में
What smell?
वो fermented वाला बैम्बू का so थोड़ा सराब वगैरह आता है. तो इसको होता है. All of most of the things are here. We have traditionally sun dried, smoke dried, and fermented. 3 steps of preserving food and planning. तो वो है. Arunachal में Arunachal context में these are जो आपका जो ideas है सर यहाँ पे बहुत जल्दी result आएगा. आपका जो responsible tourism का जो ideas है ना कि प्लास्टिक को अवॉइड करो क्योंकि अभी bamboo flasks भी आ गए. It is 800 rupees now. मिल्टन का bottle भी उतना ही का आता है 800 रुपये का. आज मैंने देखा 800 का है. अगर कंजम्पशन ज़्यादा होगा तो प्रोडक्ट भी बढ़ेगा, उसका प्राइस भी बढ़ जाएगा.
It can be tomorrow, it can be 200, 300. But we need to change that habit. Sir, I carry a bottle, a regular water bottle, मेरे साथ मैं लेके जाता हूँ हमेशा. I'm not carrying here today, but I do when I travel because I महीना का 9 साल का 9-10 महीना तो मैं traveling ही कर रहा हूँ. So wherever I go, I carry my own bottle of water. So हमको change होना है पहले. अपने आप को पहले change करना पड़ेगा. Rather looking your society to get change. अपने आप को change करना पड़ेगा. जैसे सर ने बोला कि कंपनी नेगलेक्ट वाटर बॉटल को नेगलेक्ट करते हैं. So we have to have that attitude कि आपको पानी का बोतल, आप पानी का बोतल ब्रश कप में लाके दो because there is no happen. You need to drink water, that's fine, but not right from the water bottle. So हम लोग को वो attitude एक रखना चाहिए. We are not going to use it. So आपका बैच में अगर आप पढ़ाई कर रहे हो, आपके बैच में अगर आपका मैं तो अगर डिसाइड करता है कि you won't bring any disposable water bottle, but rather you have our own water bottle. So एक revolution आएगा आपका इंस्टीट्यूट के. So that's how we can start, sir.
No, I think you had nothing more to add in what he said. But in the hotel industry, there's a lot of work happening in substituting packaging, food packaging. And a lot of that information is available with companies like, ours. So if any help is required, let's say for packaging of food, normally what is done, they bring those plastic containers and they pack it. No, there is a substitute. I showed it on the screen. There were substitutes available. You just have to have access to, carrying your own flask should become a habit. Rather than, what happened with plastics, they became easy and available. So instead of carrying a flask, why not just buy a bottle, drink it and throw it. That's what's caused all the damage. Okay, thank you very much. I think we had a great session. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.